Hello everybody, this is Wicked, bringing you an audio commentary for WCReplays.com. Do not quote, copy, or distribute without my express written consent. It's just like the NFL, only, we don't make any money. Right, so if you could go ahead and get that replay paused at 2 minutes, I will tell you why this game is so special. First off, it's special because it has my favorite player of all time, Axlav, formerly of KOD, and now of RSG, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's moved on to some other clan, as he's certainly good enough to. And Axlav has randomed human on Turtle Rock against Night Elf, and Night Elf is being played by Heart of Stone. What I like about this game is that the human beats Bear and Dryad without doing anything weird. He gets pretty regular units. He doesn't have to expand to beat the Night Elf. He doesn't have an incredibly good early game. He just beats him unit for unit, and I will show you how to do that. Well, I guess I won't really show you. All you can hear is my voice. Yes, I'll actually be acting out exactly how to do it with my hands, but since this isn't, video, you guys are still going to lose versus Night Elf. But anyway, if you got that replay paused at 2 minutes, we can get this started in 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, so here's the game. Lots of players in the human versus Night Elf matchup find it difficult to, well, I don't know, just to play against the Night Elf. It's tough to beat them because, they got the Demon Hunter, which is going to mana burn your heroes. Archmage in the early game, get rid of all the mana of your Mountain King later in the game. They've got archers, which are pretty good defending early game. They can hide behind their ancients, which prevents any real footmen rushing. And, dryads are just dominant. They completely cancel out the casters of human, and bears completely decimate human melee units as well as riflemen, which would be the main counter to dryads. So the key to beating the game is, or the key to winning the game is if the human can beat your riflemen with bears, and riflemen counter the dryads, that means you need something else that can beat the dryads. And anybody? That's right, the answer is mortar teams. But back to this early game, you'll see that Axlav is pausing for a second before he does creeping. That's to give the Demon Hunter a chance to show up so that it can get a few attacks off, and Axlav doesn't get creepjacked. Of course, if the Demon Hunter is just sticking around, you're going to get creepjacked eventually, and mana burn. But the key is, you gotta know when to attack the Demon Hunter and when to attack the creeps. Axlav's pretty good at this. He attacks the Demon Hunter when the creeps aren't going to be able to do too much damage to him, but he made sure, if you noticed, that he killed the big turtle before he started attacking the Demon Hunter. You don't want to give the Demon Hunter a chance to either steal the creep kill, or and you certainly don't want to be attacking the Demon Hunter while the big creeps are pounding on your units, because that's exactly what the Demon Hunter wants. So you finish off the big creeps. If there are a few little creeps left, that's fine. Go for the Demon Hunter. But try not to be attacking the Demon Hunter while there's still big creeps around. And always pause before each creep camp. Just, it doesn't have to be too long. Pause. Shouldn't slow down your creeping too much. Just give it 4 or 5 seconds. Maybe count to 5 in your head. Usually I find that when I'm trying to pace myself in Warcraft, it's impossible because I can't keep good time. But if you just count to 5, literally, maybe take your hand a little bit off the mouse. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then start creeping. Chances are you might be able to avoid the Demon Hunter there, because if you just start creeping right away, the Demon Hunter runs in, starts harassing you, you're really screwed. That's no good. You don't want that to happen. You'll see, this is one of the reasons why pushing a Night Elf is hard, even though footmen should be able to beat archers, is because Moonwell micro, all they have to do is constantly right-click the Moonwells and then hit I whenever one of them gets too low for Moonwells to save, and they can just keep focusing your footmen. Yeah. Axlav does about as well as he could have here. If it were me, I wouldn't have actually gone into that base. It's the strong point for human in the human versus Night Elf matchup is definitely tier 2. That's when you want to be hitting them. You don't want to try and hit him tier 1 because they'll pull this shit on you. You don't want to be hitting him in tier 3 if you can avoid it. Except Axlav hits, you'll see later in this game, he hits in tier 3 and he actually goes toe-to-toe with him. But that is because of an interesting little strat that I will explain later. And you'll see here that you know, most of the players, they're going back to their shop. Axeliv's going to get some items. He's tech to tier 2. He's not going to go beyond tier 2, but you need tier 2 in order to get your, you know, your Sanctums, your Mountain King. You don't really need tier 3, because all the tier 3 is going to get you is Griffins, which can be useful against Night Elf, but if they mass up the Dryads, you're kind of screwed. So, human, obviously tech to tier 2, get your Mountain King. Build your Arcane Sanctums. One of the things I like about this game is that Axelive is oddly cookie cutter. Excuse me, that's another on-air burp. Usually Axelive goes for, you know, weird strategies, that kind of stuff, but in this game he actually goes for a fairly normal strat, although he plays it a bit differently. And, yeah, that's what you're going to see. So, obviously there's Water Elemental tanking on the Archmage, and then the Night Elf is creeping, you know, Panda and Demon Hunter. Those are fairly standard heroes against human. Panda can really rip through footmen as well as, you know, casters, mortars, that kind of stuff. One of the big things you got to get to counter the Panda is Spellbreakers. Not only Spellbreakers magic immune and counter them in that way, but they also drain mana, and they're like your very own mana burn. Take a look back at Axeliv's base for me for a second. You'll see that he's throwing up a workshop. Workshops are immensely useful against Night Elf because you're going to be able to get mortar teams, which are one of the key parts of this strategy. You're seeing, at least I see more and more in the replays I watch, that rifle casters slowly being replaced with mortar caster, because rifles die too easily to bears, mortars do more damage, yada yada yada. So you see that Heart of Stone is actually checking for expos on all of Axeliv's, on all of the mines near Axeliv's base, because he's very suspicious, because a lot of humans are going to try and expand in order to beat a Night Elf. If you're a Night Elf, you're definitely going to want to be checking for expansions against human, because that's one of the easiest ways for them to beat you. You'll see here that Axelive uses a bolt, but he knows to run because he's not powerful enough at this point. Let's see that Axelive started off with a sorceress and a priest, which, you know, good casting starters. You want to get some basic casters out, so the priests can heal you, maybe make up for a bit of the Breath of Fire. And, you know, obviously sorceresses are there to slow. Slow is really good until they get Dryads. Once they get Dryads, obviously it's not so good, but as you can see here, he's able to slow the heroes and just run away and get away easily. Initiate sorceresses actually have as much mana as, you know, Dryads start off with, and with Brilliance Aura they're able to regen faster than Dryads, so you can get out more slows than they can get out abolishes, even with I don't know where I'm going with this. You can get off more slows than they can get off abolishes. There, done. You'll see here that Axelive has popped out his first mortar. Mortar teams fairly efficient. They're kind of low HP, but that's okay because they stay in the back anyway. The deadly combination for human is slow and mortar teams, because obviously slowed units are going to have more of a hard time running away from mortar attacks. Yeah, you'll see here that, you know, obviously Heart of Stone is a very good mana burner. He's pretty efficient at it. He's also good at running away, like most Night Elves are. So the combination that you're going for is slow and mortars, because slow keeps them slow, mortars mortify them, I suppose. You want to get the priest because they're going to cancel out that Breath of Fire and possibly the burn damage. They're also pretty useful. That's one thing I don't see many humans doing, is getting as many priests as they get sorceresses. They'll get like 8 sorceresses, maybe like 3 or 4 priests, but priests are really good, guys. You should get more of them. And you see that Axelive is different from most humans in that he hasn't even gotten a Spellbreaker yet. He's definitely not going for Spellbreakers at this point in the game. He will be, because Spellbreakers are very good against bears. When I watched this replay, I sort of wondered why he brought along the peasants. At first I thought maybe he was going to tower him, but he doesn't throw up any towers. But, you know, and then I realized, you know, all the damage the peasants are taking is damage that other units aren't taking, so, you know, it's good. This is where slow and mortar teams come into place. You'll see that that panda was down to very low HP before it got, you know, teleported out. And so, we've got a fairly typical battle going on here. You got the peasants taken down.